Hello students, all geared up to move ahead. Today we will study about potential due to dipole. After covering about potential difference, potential due to single point charge, today we will study how can we calculate potential when we are taking a dipole into account. Dipole, you know, system of two equal and opposite charges separated by certain distance. So we have minus q at A plus q at B separated by distance 2L, and P as usual our observation point at which we are trying to find the total potential. Remember, potential is a scalar quantity. So the distance of charge minus q and P, distance between minus q and P is R1, distance between plus q and P is R2. Center of the dipole is denoted by O, and the distance of O, that is center to observation point, is position vector R. By now you remember these things. Now theta is the angle which the observation point or the position vector R makes with the dipole moment vector. Dipole moment is from minus q to plus q. So R and P, they make an angle theta with each other. And so these are all the things. Do not look at the extensions right now. We will come to that point. Now first we will calculate V1, which is the potential at P due to minus q charge. Since potential is a scalar quantity, all we are going to do is we will calculate potential at P due to minus q, then potential at same point P due to plus q, and then we will take this we will add them up to find the total potential. So potential at P due to minus q. The expression says, you have seen it in the single charge, it is constant K into the charge. Here in case of potential and potential energy, you will put the charge with its polarity, unlike force and electric field. So it is this upon the distance of the observation point from the charge. So you have K into minus Q by R1. Potential V2 at P due to plus Q. Again this is K, the polarity is plus Q. Distance of the charge from the observation point is R2. Total potential at P, that is V, is nothing but V1 plus V2. Here we are using some construction. V1 plus V2 we got. Actually we are done with the derivation. We wanted total potential V and we got it by adding V1 plus V2. Now further whatever we are doing, it is just, if I take V1 plus V2, which is equal to V, then I have to write it like this. K common for both the terms. Then we have Q common, and then 1 by R2 minus 1 by R1. Fine. This is V. I have written it K minus Q by R1 plus K plus Q by R2. So taking the common and you get this is the value of V. So we are done with the derivation in one way, that we got the total potential. But now further whatever we are doing little construction work, we are putting little extensions. Whatever we are doing, that is just to express R1 and R2 in the known term of R, that is position vector, because in 90% of the cases or most of the cases it is R that we know, that is distance of the observation point from the center of the dipole. Distance of the observation point from individual charges of the dipole may or may not be known. So we want to convert this R1 and R2 in the terms of R. So further whatever we are doing, it is just rearrangement and bringing the derivation in a more applicable, or what you can say more clear form. Otherwise we are done. Whatever we had to calculate, we have calculated. We are only converting R1, R2 in terms of R. So construction part. First thing, we will drop a perpendicular from A to C. First of all, this OP is the distance R. We extend OP backwards, and from A to C we drop a perpendicular on extended OP. Similarly, we drop a perpendicular from B to D. This is point B, and we drop a perpendicular B to D on OP. Here this is the perpendicular and this AC is the perpendicular. Two perpendiculars we have dropped. Now R1. This is, here we are using little approximation. Now approximation, when and how can we use approximations? As long as your approximations are not yielding to error value, which is what you can say beyond expected or beyond allowed permissible error. So what is the construction? You have dropped the perpendiculars. Now R1 can be written as, which is AP, can be written as approximately equal to CP. Now we have come to the last steps. So R1 is close to CP and CP can be written as CO plus OP. Similarly, R2, this value can be, which is equal to BP, is close to DP. Approximately means if we take this approximation, the error will not be much. So we will write DP, which is nothing but OP minus OD. Is it clear now? So we can move further. This is the last step. So we are moving further and we will expand these terms OP and OD, isn't it? So here you can see one thing, that R1, which is equal to AP, is approximately equal to CP. And if we take AP approximately equal to CP, the error will be very small. And CP can be written as OP plus OC. Now what is OC? From here cos theta is OC upon L. At the same time, if I take this side, cos theta is OD upon L. So OC is L cos theta and OD is also L cos theta. Putting OC as L cos theta plus OP, which is equal to R, and here OP, which is equal to R minus OD, which is nothing but L cos theta. Substituting these values, I get V total equal to K into Q. K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. Q 1 by R2, which is 1 by R minus L cos theta minus 1 by R1, which is equal to 1 by R plus L cos theta. So what are we getting next? We are getting 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q. Here we are getting R plus L cos theta minus R plus L cos theta divided by R square minus L square cos square theta. Simplifying, we can write it for a while. K, Q. So what are we getting? R gets cancelled. We get 2L cos theta upon R square minus L square cos square theta. Okay. So we have come to this conclusion. Last step, what is it? K. Can we write Q into 2L? What is this? Dipole moment P cos theta upon R square minus L square cos square theta. This is the value of V. We will write it in a further simple form. I hope you are getting all these steps. You can meditate, you can concentrate on these steps, and if you have any doubts, you can put them in the comment box. So we got V potential is equal to P, which is dipole moment, into cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square minus L square cos square theta. Now P cos theta can be written as P vector dot unit vector. What is R cap? R cap is the unit vector along OP. This is OP, so it is the unit vector. R is the position vector and R cap is the unit vector. This can be written as, actually we have written it as P into 1 into cos theta. So P vector into 1 is magnitude 1 is unit vector, and that is dot product of two vectors is expressed as a scalar. P into 1 into cos theta, that is P cos theta. So 4 pi epsilon naught, the same denominator. First case, I hope you got it clear. P cos theta, here we have written it as P into 1 into cos theta. 1 magnitude is R vector unit vector. So dot product of P dot R is P into 1 into cos theta. First case, if R is much greater than L, that means the observation point is at a far off point or very far off distance compared to the length of the dipole. In that situation, this complete term can be neglected and you get only R square here. So P cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square. Second situation, if P is on the axial line of dipole, that is theta equal to 0, means this observation point is lying somewhere here on the axial point. In that situation, this angle theta, which the position vector of the observation point and dipole moment is making, this theta will be 0 because the observation point will be lying somewhere here on the axis. So in that situation, cos 0 will be 1. We get P by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by r square. We get the conclusion that V is inversely proportional to r square if it is on the axial point, and if P is on the equatorial line of dipole, means the observation point is lying somewhere at the perpendicular bisector of the dipole, means exactly perpendicular to this. In that situation, this cos 90 becomes 0, hence the entire value of potential comes out to be 0. We arrive at a very important conclusion. I would like you to take note of it, that potential is 0 at all points of equatorial line of dipole. Just see here, suppose I have a dipole minus q plus q. This is the center of the dipole and this is the equatorial line of the dipole. Means at all these points, at all the points of the equatorial line of the dipole, the value of potential is 0. At all these points the potential is 0, obviously because you get these points are equidistant from both the charges. So k is magnitude wise, q charges are same and the distance is same. So you get plus kq by r and minus kq by r, result comes out to be 0. So all the equatorial, we have written potential is 0 at all points of the equatorial line of the dipole is 0. This is known as equipotential point. We will study more about equipotential points in the forthcoming classes. We will in fact study about equipotential surfaces also, which is a very important component of this particular chapter. So I hope you understood it. Try to map them, try to draw graphs wherever required. If you have any doubts, you can drop them down in the comment section. Thank you.